Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Duke Silver. Today we're going to be playing Hercules. Hercules' ability is when you drop to 20 or 6 for the first time, double your character's permanent stats. So yeah, there's a couple like premium 2-drops with Hercules. You don't want to lose any fights early. You want to conserve your health as much as possible and get as many permanent stats on your board as possible before you drop down to 20. But yeah, in the interest of getting permanent stats, like Smiling Sprout and Apprentice Owl I think are very premium as 2-drops. And I think secondary is probably this Parrot. The Parrot does add permanent stats to something on your bench, so that is something to keep in mind. We do get a Slay there, but unfortunately have nothing on our bench to scale. We're going to pick up a second Apprentice Owl, and we're going to throw that one on our bench. And basically, we're going to pick up this shield page. And I don't know, I said the Smiling Sprout was a premium 2-drop, but on 2.2, it's I think even with Hercules, it's a little bit too slow. I think. It's just the stats don't get relevant for at least a few turns, and yeah, that's just going to make you lose health faster and pop your hero power in a less efficient manner. All right, we get the option to triple our owl. We do want to triple it just in case we can get an ice ring, but at the same time, that's going to make our mana pretty inefficient here. So I think we're just going to take a 3, and I think it's just going to be this farm hand. I mean, it's just a 3 gold 12/12 this turn. It's going to help us keep our HP up, and we are going to cast this Demon's Deal even for no benefit, just to add some scaling, because if we get like another one in the shop, then we're pretty happy. Alright, we get to triple, and there's the Ice Ring, so that's going to be and a +2/+2 to our Apprentice Owl every turn, so when we finally do pop our hero power, it's going to be significant. Unfortunately out of mana, so we can't cast the Mix-a-Wizzle there, but we're just gonna take the demon, and I mean, we take a damage, which is fine. Like again, we don't want to lose too much HP because we don't want to pop our hero power prematurely, but adding the 4/3 and taking the 1 damage is going to be more overall. Also, you saw we benched the Parrot there. Because we have the Ice Ring, obviously it's not going to survive. We could have put it in front of the shield page, but the other units just use the stats more efficiently, as well as this way the person scouting my board wouldn't be able to see the Parrot if we decided to keep it in there. But we didn't do that, but because we just found more stats anyways. Unfortunately, we do lose there, but we don't drop down to 20 at least. We are at 24, so we got one more loss before our hero power pops. We get to pick up a Romeo and Juliet here, which is really nice. That's another well, those are units that definitely use permanent stats really well. So if you can stack some of those up onto a Romeo and Juliet and then pop your hero power, then that can be a significant infusion of stats. Just managed to get a tie there, so that's good. I mean, we wouldn't hate popping our hero power at this point. Again, the Romeo and Juliet would get the stats, and the Apprentice Owl would double in size and become quite large, probably enough to carry us through the rest of the mid game, unless it were to get scammed, of course. But we can always scout boards and play around Brave Tailor, BLT, if you will. All right, yeah, the Romeo Juliet combination is pretty effective in the mid game as well. Getting the second Romeo was really nice. And I mean, we mostly just want Romeo and Juliet. There's not really actually many things we want on 5 in this for the board we're running right now. I mean, taking a Succubus might be fine, but we do find another Juliet, so we're pretty happy to do that. Now, if we were to pop our hero power right here, then and then triple our Romeos and Juliets, that would be again a very significant boost in stats. And there's that brave little Tailor we were worried about before, but managed to make quick work of them. I think we're just going to take XP here and go to 6 immediately here, and then we get to see a couple shops on 6. And we see our first shop here. We see King Arthur, and we've got the 2 shield pages, so I'm going to take that. That's going to be just a decent chunk of stats and pretty easy replacement for the Freed Prince. Yeah, you see, just like Arthur just doing or giving 150% of his stats to the back line is pretty huge, even just with those very insignificant supports. Speaking of supports, we're going to pick up a Merlin. It's going to double the amount, or has an aura. Your boosts are applied an additional time. So, I mean, it's getting +0, +8 from that other shield page. But we can do better. And by do better, I mean we can take Uther here. So Uther says all your supports in your front row affect your back row, and also any supports in your front row or auras in your front row, if they die, the effect is not removed. So you can put auras that you normally would want to protect. You can throw them in the front row, and Uther will keep them alive. And also Uther works very specifically with a card called Lady of the Lake, which we will see in a couple turns. I'm sure y'all have seen the boost comp. It's a little bit obtuse, but I'll do my best to kind of explain what's happening and how it works. Speaking of Lady of the Lake, there she is. And yeah, we're gonna take her. So what Lady of the Lake does is she says boost your boosts. She boosts boosters basically. So the fact that she's boosting our back row, and she says your boosters are I think applied again. Your boosters' boosts are applied again. So basically she just amplifies other boosters. So that's why you want Lady in the Lake in front with Uther in the back, because Lady in the Lake is making Merlin and Uther apply their boosts again. Hopefully that makes sense. And then yeah, we saw us past Lady Guinevere. Guinevere also kind of has the same ability. Also, we did get a level 5 treasure. I kind of glossed over the fact that we got a Divine Messenger, which makes all our boosts affect the entire front row, which means Guinevere is going to be a really good pickup. Guinevere also says your boosts are applied again, except this Guinevere and Lady of the Lake do almost the same thing, except just kind of in different ways. Like Lady of the Lake makes your boosts, your boosters apply again, whereas Guinevere, whatever characters she's boosting, get the boosts that they're already getting again. Again, like I said, it's a little bit obtuse and hard to parse a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of what's happening. And you can see us repositioning here. This opponent I saw was scaling a Hermes. They're actually playing Slay, which is something you really don't see very often. So kudos to them. But yeah, we put our supports in the front because they're still affecting our back row with the Uther. We just needed them to not hit the Uther, and they didn't. We got very fortunate in that combat. And then the King Arthur applies 150% of his stats to all the characters boosting him. So all those characters in the front row boosting our back row got those Arthur stats, and that just made us big enough to win the fight handily. All right, we're gonna pick up another Merlin, which is fantastic. Again, Merlin has that aura that all our boosts are applied a second time. So Guinevere, notably though, does not get amplified by Merlin or by Lady of the Lake, so that is something to remember. I think this comp was like a little bit out of control during the final days of closed beta, so that kind of Gwyn kind of got changed right before launch to not be boosted by other characters. It does get boosted by treasures though, and by items. So if you put a double boost effect on Gwyn, or you have a treasure that boosts your boost effects, then that does work. So yeah, so basically all these supports are basically just kind of boosting each other, applying each other's boosts multiple times. So it's really hard to say like what the most optimal configuration is. I think a lot of the boost comps don't play King Arthur. I like King Arthur. I mean, I think it works really well, especially in this spot. I mean, when we don't have a full front line of boosts. But yeah, I think the end game of it is to just have an entire full board of boosts, 4 in the front, 3 in the back, and then you want to pick up alliance bands. Honestly, I thought alliance bands were pretty much just unplayable as items, but in this comp they're actually really, really good because there's so many boosts being applied and reapplied and boosted that you just end up with a lot of boost applications, and it just ends up being a very, very strong. All right, once again we're against the Hermes player, the Hermes Slay player. We want to get rid of this ice ring, so I think we are going to sell our apprentice owl here for a bottle ship, which is really nice. That's going to give us more treasure options later. And yeah, we basically just have to hope that they don't hit the Uther once again. We do get a pig onto their second Hermes, but they do hit our Uther unfortunately, and and that means that King Arthur's kind of left stranded in the back without anything to give his stats to. So it's possible we should have maybe positioned a little bit differently. Like having both King Arthurs in the back, like it's pretty risky to just have them in the back. But I think that's what we had to do. I mean, otherwise we just lose our supports immediately for no added benefit. And yeah, you can see the significant stats we get even from just a very, I think that's like the mid-tier alliance band, but it increases the stats of this King Arthur by I think it was like 200-ish. All right, fortunately, we have enough stats thanks to our frontline Merlin applying a boost multiple times to our back row. Made our Uther big enough to survive that player's Hermes. People teching against our support comp here. And yeah, you can see we have so many stats on our King Arthurs, but we do have to protect our supports. And the Slay player has picked up a Divine Shield treasure, so all their front row is going to have a shield. But we do have a way around that, and so we're going to pick up Mad Oblivion here, and Mad Oblivion gives stealth to his the character to his left, so that means that we're basically creating a funnel, so the Hermes have to attack. They only have one target in the back, and that's going to be that King Arthur. We are playing another King Arthur up front, but I think we should probably be playing the Gwyn instead, because once this one King Arthur dies, it's going to give his stats to the entire front row. And I think that's just going to be a lot more significant. We do get pegged. Our Lady of the Lake gets pinged, but or gets pegged, but it's not quite enough. Our funnel is successful, and the Hermes and Women of the Moon don't get big enough to handle the stats that are on our supports. Thanks in part to the Alliance Band as well. And there's another Alliance Band, which like it might not be correct to take. That's I think the highest level one. And yeah, I mean, you can see it just gives us a ton of stats on our back line. And yeah, we just have to hope that the opponent doesn't find a way to scam our Uther through the stealth. And I think we're in pretty good shape here. But yeah, the reason I was saying it might not be correct to take the Alliance Band there, because that's some extra rolls that we can take to triple our Arthur. Tripling our Arthur would be a huge amount of stats. It would deny probably at least one more Slay and just increase the stats on our front line by a ton more. But turns out we didn't need it. Our funnel worked, and yeah, we managed to outplay the Slay. But yeah, I hope this is an adequate explanation of how the support comp works as well. This is definitely not the final form of it. Like it was pretty good as it is, but there's a lot of improvement that you can make to this, and you can see the ceiling on this comp being quite high. It's a little bit scammable. If you can scam the Uther, then things do kind of fall apart a little bit. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did, and yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.